We have a question that has to do with ex-boyfriends and bringing it up and all sorts of friend zone stuff. And the reason why like this question comes up is because the friend zone question comes up all the fucking time. It's all the time because it sucks when you're stuck in the friend zone. In fact, I was talking about this with one of my buddies who's a dating coach, and I said that I'd like made a video. This was like 2 years ago. I made a video on the friend zone, and he's like, "What did it say? Just don't be a friend if you don't want to be a friend." And it made so much sense to what he's saying, but when it comes down to it, there's all these little particulars that come into it. And the question that got asked is, what happens when a girl brings up her ex-boyfriend? Because every girl that he's dated has an ex-boyfriend. Every woman out there has an ex-boyfriend that affected them, or most likely. I mean, if she didn't, then she's lacking in some relationship experience. You might want to reconsider that. So what do you do when that gets brought up? Well, this is an interesting thing because, man, like this, like especially now, gives me such a perspective on things that are, guys should just never do this. And like you fuck yourselves in so many ways. And I saw it in real time because a couple weeks ago, Mari and I took a break from each other, and all the fucking attention that she got from men was this type of attention. And it's the worst thing. And I can even talk about the attention that I got from women because it's so interesting how stuff plays out. It's amazing to me. And it's just so textbook. And it doesn't mean that anybody's bad or good or whatever, but men, you're fucking bitches, man. You're fucking pussies. There's so many goddamn people out there that I know that were mutual friends of ours that just turned into the dumbest thing. And you could just see it so night and day. I was talking about this a lot with Chance, and he was like, "Oh my God, dude, what a fucking bit. I can't believe it." Or like, that makes sense. That guy's just such a tool. So what was happening is we split up. And, it sucks. Everybody's like upset and hurt and all these things. And I was pretty hurt. You guys have heard me talk about those things and like reaching out to the group and all sorts of good stuff that came out that way. But, sometimes these things need to happen. And what happened is, she's upset. So she talked to some of her guy friends, and, I'll tell you this from my perspective, like to get female attention was a good thing, not necessarily for sex or anything like that, but you want to have that like opposite sex attention, especially when you're so used to getting it from one person, and it just feels good. Right. It's all, I spent most of my time with guys, just sorting this stuff out for other reasons of just like the psychology behind it and getting to a place where I could like function with it and think clearly and all that sort of stuff to actually consult with men and not a bunch of like red pill pissed off, like dipshits online who've never been in a relationship. That's the best thing. Or if they have been in a relationship, they just hate women and have sworn them off forever. Like it's fucking great. Like the most dysfunctional human beings giving life advice, like feminists and those motherfuckers, man, Jesus Christ, man. Or the intense ones, the extremists, right? But the thing is that you reach out to that opposite sex a little bit. And it's so funny. It's so fucking funny because so much of it just over and over again of mutual friends that we had, the guys would be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Well, what can I do? Oh man, that's so bad that this is happening." Or "I'm friends with both of you, but that sounds really fucked up." And like, they'd be saying these things. And of course, it's like, here's the thing, guys, if you're in that position and you're mutual friends with somebody, most likely the people are going to get back together and you're going to hear about it to some degree. And here's how you're going to hear about it. Or here's how the me in this case is going to hear about it. "Oh my God, like such and such, like talk to me." And you kind of like realize who your real friends were. And it was just like they were helping me out, and that was really cool because I needed X, Y, Z. But like, it was just like it was kind of like disrespectful, and I couldn't believe it. Or how could you be friends with that person? And that is like how I hear about it. And when I hear about that, and even if I talk to that person and they go, "Oh no, man, I was friends with you, da, da, da," and then I was like, "Man, well, you didn't call me," or "That's a completely different story that told me about." It's like, Jesus Christ, man. You're a pussy. You're a fucking you're a bitch who's acting like my friend that wants to like play to, my partner, my wife, or whatever it is, my ex-girlfriend, da, da, da. You want to play to her so you can win over some sort of favor. And why is that? What's going on? And it's just, you can see it night and day. It was the funniest thing because I was telling Chance, he's like, "Yep, another dude that wants to fuck your chick." And that's hands down what it is. It's just so ridiculous as these guys put themselves in the friend zone so much to the point where they can only be a friend. She can't even like, it's almost like a benefit to me. I was talking to another guy in TSL and he was like, well, that sounds like a good conversation, because that's the conversation that a guy, when I was relaying this to him, he's like, that's the conversation that a guy who doesn't fuck your old lady has with her. And it's so true. Like, it's so fucking true. Like, it's exactly what happens. So it's such an interesting thing, you know, like if a girl comes to you that you don't know, and she's talking about her ex-boyfriend or some sort of drama or some big thing in those ways, man, you know what the guy that gets laid does? And this is exactly what he does. Like, if I was dating a girl, or if I meet a girl and she's like, I just broke up with my boyfriend, it's totally crazy. He was this asshole and he did blah, 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 and this and that and the other thing. Here's what I would say. I would say, oh man, that sucks. Like, well, do you want to hang out or what? Like, are we just talking about like shit that doesn't involve me? Like, I would totally play it off. In fact, I might not insult it like that, but I would play it off and just be, oh, well, are we going to like do something else? Like, it sounds like a shitty situation. But it was so fucking amazing. Like, the shoulder to cry on, the person that cares, the person that's going to care so much to manipulate them, or maybe not manipulate's a poor choice of words, but to somehow swing them over to go like, man, this guy's the good guy, fulfilling the thing that other guy didn't do, because like, he's not like me and I'm going to do everything that she says. Well, here's the thing. When people say what their problems are, that's not always their fucking problem. When people are saying what's wrong with a situation, that's like a superficial insight. It's the first thing. That's not saying that may not be the problem, but man, that's not the overall problem, or a problem within it, but that's not the overall problem. And guys start playing to that. They start working towards that, and you fucking dig yourself in a hole to where you get nothing. And the best part about this all is how the fuck can I respect you after that? So all those motherfuckers, it's like, well, fuck, sorry, man. Yeah, whatever. And the sad part of it is that it's like, you know, Maria's like, well, they're good people. They're nice people or whatever. But so what? I don't think that anymore. I don't think that. I mean, one of the best things, this is like the fucking best things, was that people then came back and were like, oh man, do you know Steve shared this about you? Or Steve shared this. It's like, fuck, really? You fucking bitch, man. You fucking pussy. Like, you're fucked for your life. Like, because it's so dumb. Like, how you thought that would in any way benefit the situation. That wasn't in our best interest. That was in your best interest to gain some sympathy or a bigger pillow to put on your shoulder so somebody could fucking cry on it. But it's totally fucking retarded, man. And it's like, if that's your road to making friends, to building friendships, to seeing the awareness of a situation, or to even the benefit of the situation and both parties, you know, coming back together or whatever, you're a fucking idiot. All right. And now you're a fucking idiot that can't be trusted, man. If I share like, oh man, like guy stuff with you, and when the opportunity comes to where you think you're going to, man, what a fucking misinterpretation of morality or femininity. Or one of the other excuses I got was, I was like, oh man, but it's in the pursuit of beauty. And it's like, man, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you with your own fucking goddamn moral dick until you fucking bleed and your back breaks. That's what I think of that. So it's just such a dumb thing to do. So don't put yourself in that situation. So I'm a little bit heated about this because it was kind of like in the reality of my life. But in the question that got asked, if you're a guy that's like, you know, you're not involved in the situation or whatever, and you're hanging out with a girl, the best route, if you do want to have sex with her, if you do even want to have a relationship with her and respect her in the best possible way, is don't buy into the drama or the story that she's telling you. That is just bad news all around. There was also a question about a girl who had talked to a guy and she had said she was sexually assaulted, which is a really fucked up thing, and not to make light of any of that in any sort of way. But if you buy into that, you're not the guy that is going to solve that for her. Why would you do that? Like, it's just such a tough thing. Sure, man, have your sympathy, have your respect, but to actually think that your sympathy, your counseling in that is going to benefit her in some sort of way, like that's just not it. You're not the person for that, right? And you really got to understand that. And if you want to be the guy that does have a relationship with her in the most respectful way or in just a sexual way, it's going to be the guy that pays least attention to that. in a time where you're unprepared for it because you don't know her. You're only going off of reactive stuff. It's just fucking, you know, you have, I get it. You have your morality in check and all this sort of stuff, but it's not the right time or place. Like if you want to actually help her with those psychological and emotional issues, you actually have to have a relationship with her that is deeper than just feeling sorry for her. You actually have to get to know her, you know, whether that's on a sexual level or not. Another interesting thing is check this shit out. And this is something that you need to think about if you're in this situation. All right. So this is what happened with me. And I basically said, well, when we're taking a break, I'm not going to sleep with anybody I don't want to. I was like totally emotionally drained and fucked up. And it gave me so many insights to like just so much about myself and shit that I need to work on as well as work on within the relationship. But man, fucking let me tell you, like pain will show you some crazy shit, right? Some crazy shit that like still exists within me that I would not have seen before. And it's really like an awesome thing. It's really a cool thing to see. But what I got out of this was that when I told my female friends that have known me for years, like, oh no, we're having these problems, dude, it was like crazy. It's so nuts stereotypically that like you can't really plan on it. But one of the things was basically like, I'd say like, hey, we're having some problems. And some of the girls would be like, hey, you can come over and hang out, whatever you need. Oh my God, it's such a big deal. Let's meet up. And it was like almost like guys pushing you for a date that was just like totally logistics based. Now, I'll tell you this, none of those girls, I mean, as I said, I wasn't going to sleep with anybody. None of those girls said they were going to fuck me or anything like that. But it was just very much put out there. Like, it was like, oh my God, I'll be there for you. It was pretty fucking funny. So to see that sort of stuff play out, like how, and none of these, like I didn't reach out to any people that were mutual friends between us. But it's just funny how guys will react in some ways, you know, when a girl breaks up with a guy and how they're just like right up on it. And they hit these categorical ways that puts you in just such a shitty, you know, position where you lose all around, man. You lose all around. All right. You don't get the chick. You're going to get more frustrated. And if you're friends with the dude, he is not going to be friends with you after that, unless he's a dumbass. But it was like, wow. And then with the women on my side, and again, these weren't mutual friends, but it was like, hey, I'm here for you. What do you need? Come over. You can crash at my place. I have a couch, like all this sort of stuff, which just sets up all these situations. It was pretty funny, man. And I only interacted with them over text messaging and nothing more than that, which was kind of a good thing. And for me, because this whole thing of us splitting was never about like us splitting. It was about us figuring out like why we wanted each other more in these ways and to make things work in a better way. And that's really what it comes down to. But I would literally say, I've said this, you know, many times to you guys on separate videos, is that in 4 or 5 years, my life has been really, really stable. I haven't gone through like extreme pain of whatever on an emotional level. And to do that, even though it was just for a week, yeah, man, it like fucked me up and showed a lot of crazy shit, which, you know, I'm really grateful for in so many different ways. And I'm glad that not too much damage was caused in the midst of that, because that shit can happen. That shit can happen big time. And I'm glad that did not happen. Anyway, hopefully that helps with the whole friend zone thing. That's really what this was about. But man, just from the first hand knowledge that I've seen from it, it's like, God, man, some of these guys, it's like, I feel bad for you, man. You're like destined to be fucked by like your chasing of being the guy that women tell you that you're supposed to be, and not getting to know the woman, bringing the woman out and having that tell you what you're supposed to be. So you can take that to the bank.